There's a point where optimism stops being optimism and starts looking like a guy on a ladder installing a sex swing for his wife's boyfriend. That's basically where the market is right now. Oil's disrupted, gas is up, the Strait of Hormuz is still a problem, but every few days someone says, "We're close, it's fine, everything is almost solved." And the market takes another hit off the Hopium pipe. Physics doesn't care about vibes. So this one is about Iran, oil, denial, magical thinking, and the strange American habit of pretending the bill isn't coming just because nobody has handed it to us yet. This is Shrink the Nation. Let's go.
This is Shrink the Nation, a podcast for thoughtful, informed adults, preferably holding a drink and definitely holding a thought. The views expressed here are ours alone. They do not represent our employers, institutions, licensing boards, government agencies, bourbon distilleries, or most emphatically, our families. They've been very clear about that. This show is for education and entertainment only. Nothing you hear is medical, psychiatric, legal, or professional advice. We're clinicians, not your clinicians. If something we say stirs you up, that's not a crisis, that's a journal entry, or an email sent politely. We're here to challenge ideas, not diagnose strangers on the internet. And if you are in real distress, please reach out to a professional who can actually help you.
All right. Hey, we're back after a week off. Life kicked us in the proverbial nuts, and we're taking our licks, but we're back. And here we go. So I'm David. Got, I don't know, over 20 years.
A lot.
Military. I'm a
Something. Blah,
psychiatrist, all
blah,
that
blah.
bullshit, blah, blah, blah. I am drinking Robbie tonight. Jefferson's Ocean, Voyage 28. Voyage 28.
It's such a bullshit bourbon.
It's
a
actually pretty
bullshit
good.
Bourbon.
It's pretty good.
It's
So the
fucking
way that-
bourbon. It's fine.
Well, what I learned about the Jefferson's Ocean bourbons is that what they do is they distill it, then they barrel it, then they stick it on a boat, and they go
Around the
around
world.
to different places. Yeah, I don't know where they go. They go to hot places, they go to cold places. Does that change anything about the bourbon? Not really.
It's a gimmick,
Tastes fun.
buddy.
I know it is,
It's a
but
gimmick.
this was a gift bottle, and it's pretty good. Actually, the first sip did not taste like Satan's asshole, and so
Well,
in my
that's
book,
nice.
that's a good bourbon.
That's nice. And, I really appreciate the fact that you have like the index experience of knowing what Satan's asshole tastes like so that you compare shit. That's
It tastes like
handy.
it
That's
tastes like a
handy.
very spicy apple.
That's handy. That's handy. All right.
When I was in my 20s, there was this supplement that was basically it was a liquid. It was like a pre-workout supplement. I have no idea. I don't remember what the name of it was, but
Satan's
all my
asshole.
friends know. No, that's what we called it because you'd pour like a capful of this stuff and you take a shot, and it was supposed to be like spiced apple flavor, but it burned like a motherfucker when you would drink it, and it was just like a little sip, but it went down
Right.
so hard. But afterward, you'd have this crazy energy and you'd have these great workouts. And so
Yeah.
I always called it Satan's asshole. And
Yeah. Yeah.
all my
Hey,
friends know it as that.
all right. Hey, to our tens of listeners, this is Rob. I've got stuff. I've done things. I am also somehow connected to this man who knows what Satan's asshole tastes like, which I mean, it really does make me question all my life decisions that somehow I have attached my wagon to this train that is David. And today, we're going to talk about some cool things. David hit it. The world kicked us in the nuts. It kicked me in the nuts 2 times, actually. The first time, it was a glancing blow. Second time, right on target. Right on target.
Just graze
it
the
was a
scrotum a little bit.
It was a graze the first time. The second time, it got me. I mean, it was deep. It was hurt where women's ovaries are. I mean, that's where the pain was. It really reminded me of embryology and the biology of our nervous system. So anyway, let's talk about some things,
Well,
buddy.
All right, before we jump into today's episode, I do need to let everyone know that while we were off last week, I secured us a brand new sponsor. So frankly, I'm shocked
What?
that they reached out, but Robbie insisted I read the copy exactly as written, legally binding,
All right.
apparently. So here we go. Today's episode of Shrink the Nation is brought to you by Robbie's OnlyFans. Are you tired of influencers with six packs and self-respect? Then come on down to Robbie's OnlyFans, where the lighting is dim, the bourbon is room temperature, and the emotional boundaries are aggressively unclear. This month's exclusive content includes Sensual Civics with Robbie, geopolitics in gray sweatpants, and a 6-part educational series called Filibust Her. Premium subscribers also gain access to Robbie's late
Oh.
night live streams where he explains attachment theory while chopping wood shirtless and maintaining prolonged eye contact with the camera for reasons no one fully understands.
Uh-huh.
Robbie's
Uh-huh.
OnlyFans, where
Yeah.
mustache rides aren't extra, they're expected. All right. Well, I read it, so hopefully you get our money, Robbie.
Holy shit. All right. I was not prepared for that. Now,
I mean, you told me I
to
should read it, so whatever.
to our tens of listeners, I do have an OnlyFans. I do make a crazy intense eye contact. It gets uncomfortable. It feels weird. It's just me. It's who I am.
You'll feel it where your ovaries should be.
Yeah, you'll feel it where your ovaries should be. David, let's help me get past this. Let's get past this because I don't even want to. I'm feeling uncomfortable for our poor tens of listeners right now. So let's get past this.
All right. So we do have a topic to talk about.
Yeah, lots.
Let's get into it. So it is Robbie. You
All
start
right.
off, and
So I'll tell you, Dave. We like to delve into the psychology of existence of politics and of the world. And I'll tell you the thing that has been fascinating me. And I want to pull you in on this one. It's the market. And I'm using air quotes. Nobody can really see them. I'm doing air quotes right now in the air. The
man,
market.
you're a master at podcasting.
Yeah,
Just got to
yeah.
explain
I
your
really am.
expressions.
I really am. I know our medium and here I am really leveraging it to the maximum. So the market. Here's the reality, folks. We entered into a war some time ago. We attacked
We
another country.
thought it was like a military conflict, or what do you call it? A military something. He was very specific to only state the word war like 27 times,
You know,
but to note that he wasn't allowed to call it a war.
Well, and the weird thing about him is that he'll actually say like the shit out loud. He'll say, "I'm not allowed to call it a war. It's a war." I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's like raising a 3-year-old. They always say the shit they're not supposed to say. And everyone laughs because the stakes are so low with a 3-year-old. And here we are with a 3-year-old and the stakes are high. This is
They're very
big.
high.
The stakes are really high. So anyway, whatever.
Well, this reminds me, when my daughter, for whatever reason, when she was young, she could talk at a ridiculously early age. And when she started, holy shit, she never stopped taking after me, I guess. But she would, for years, she would tell everyone she was a year older than she really was. And it was just the fucking worst when you're going to, try to get your 3-year-old into the zoo for free, right? And they're like, "And how old is she?" And you're like, "She's 3." She's like, "I'm 4." She's just fucking
Four.
yelling, "I'm 4." We're like, "She's not 4. She's 3. We swear. We're not trying to screw you
Here's
out
the
of
birth
20 bucks."
certificate. Right.
Yeah, I
Here's the
mean,
birth
but she would
certificate.
do that constantly. "I'm 4."
Right. Yeah, I raised a liar. And good on you and your wife for raising a pathological liar. That's
Yeah.
great.
We hope she'll be president one day.
She could. She's got one of the necessary skill sets.
I
All
think
right.
she's about as educated too. All right.
And mature. Maturity
She's
levels
she's
probably
ready.
similar. So here's the fascinating thing for me. We have talked about the Iran war many, many times. We have talked about my perception, at least, that the second and third order effects were not fully considered. We have talked about hopium, which for our tens of listeners, hopium is the opium of hope. So, hopium, and this administration, it feels, ended up making some decisions based on smoking the pipe of hopium, in which they believed that if they just, and I'm not sure if hopium, I believe hopium is smoked. I don't think it's snorted. I think it's
You don't think they have the long fingernail, the one fingernail that they use, and then
maybe
they
it's snorted. It's
yeah.
snorted.
Yeah. You
Hopium,
gotta snort
hopium is
that.
snorted. You're right.
Nothing is as
You're
good as
right.
snorting hopium.
Yeah. So I believe they snorted the hopium of regime change of some popular uprising that would happen de novo, irrespective of reality,
Well, he
whatever.
told them to do it.
Yeah, and he told them to do it, and why wouldn't they
I
do
mean,
it if he
he
told them
dropped
to?
it on like Truth Social or something, right? So, I mean,
It was
every
a
we all know that every Iranian in Iran reads Truth Social.
well,
They're all truthers.
and henceforth, I think we should reference all Truth Social drops as bleats because it's kind of like a goat just bleh,
Yeah.
bleeding out bleh. So yeah, he bleeded it out. And so there we are. But and I'm not going to revisit all that. I just kind of revisited all that, but I'm not going to. Yeah, just a little, just the tip, just to see how it feels, just for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's jump past that. I have found fascinating is that there is physics in this world. In the world, there are things that we cannot deny. One of the things that the world actually runs on is energy. And what energy requires at this point in our, human development is oil. We can't deny this. But since the onset of this war, a massive percentage of the world's oil supply has been cut off. A massive percentage. And that has downstream consequences. That has consequences to the cost of fuel. It has downstream consequences to the cost of everything food, you name it. It costs more because of.
I'm guessing our
But
tens of listeners are aware that things are costing more at this point.
I have a feeling that anyone who got gas today probably said, "What the fuck? What in the fuck? What in the actual fuck?" But what I have been amazed by is the non physics based response of the market. The market responds to Donald J. Trump saying, "We're close to a solution, people. We're going to sign a treaty probably this week. I don't know. Tune in later. Tune in later. We're going to do it." And he's been doing that now for 6 weeks. And every time he does it, the market actually responds to this and it goes up. And the reality is, and this is the physics of it, is that the IAE, which is the International Agent or whatever, there is a world organization that monitors these kinds of things. And, they're saying we're like $10 billion or 10 billion barrels in the hole right now. And that countries are actually about 26 billion barrels that the reserves have been spent. 26 billion barrels. And what fascinates me is that the physics of this, that the reality of this is that we are in a tale that even if this ends tomorrow, even if we resume 100% transit, which we will probably never resume again based on, the expert diplomacy that our current administration is engaged in, even if we could resume 100%, we're talking 6 to 8 months before full resolution of supply. That doesn't include full resolution of what has been spent, because really what happens is if supply resumes, that supply has to go back into the reserve. And I'm amazed that the market has been as resilient as it has been. And I'm just waiting because markets historically, they work on hope and then they crash. They crash hard. See 1930 for some reference on this, but they crash. But they ignore it until they can't ignore it, and then the market crashes. And I am waiting for that crash. And I think it's going to happen. There's no getting around it.
Well, that's really depressing, Robbie.
Yeah, it's depressing. It makes me anxious.
This reminds me of when a patient comes to you and tells you that his wife wants to have an open marriage and that he's fine with it. But he's like, I'm good. I'm going to stay in this thing as she's like bringing other men home.
Yeah, yeah.
And every time she does, she's like, "But it's fine. You know, we're good. We're married. We're happy. I'm just the marriage is open. We're just bringing other dudes home." And he's just hoping. You know, he's got that hope that
Hopium. He's smoking the
yeah,
hopium
he's got the hopium going that he
more than it.
thinks just with this pinky, long fingernail, long pinky nail. And you're watching a train wreck in slow motion with this one because you know that this isn't an open marriage. This is
This is her cheating in front of you.
just fucking right in front of you in your house, in your bedroom with another man. You're just watching your patient spiral down. And you know that
You're being marginalized in real time.
yeah, I that's what it feels like. It feels like Trump keeps telling us that it's not a war. The war is over. All is well. We're just having an open relationship with Iran. It's cool. All is well. Just keep watching it, and that yeah, it's going to come crashing down hard.
The weird thing is that the markets have been pretty resilient to this. And what has fascinated me is that they respond to these sort of promises of. And what has also fascinated me is that the talking points and the talking heads that are in the major news sources is that yeah, this is going to end and we're going to resume transit. But it defies physics. Physics says that when you have oil that is sitting in the midst of the Persian Gulf and it has to go someplace else, that even if tomorrow 100% of transit resumed, there's a 8-week delay before that oil can get where it needs to be. And right now we're absorbing it because countries are releasing their stored oil. But there's going to be a point we can't do that. And even if it resumes 100% tomorrow, all that stored oil has to be replaced. What I'm amazed by is the psychology of this, the psychology of ignoring reality. It makes no sense to me. I mean, I'm a military planner at heart. I'll admit this. Military planners, we think of the worst scenarios. We think of the worst things that could happen. We plan for those. And I am a military planner at heart. This is how I live my life. And it's not fun, I'll admit. For my tens of listeners, I'm like,
Robbie's not.
I'm not a happy man.
All right. Oh, hold on. I got to read the next copy. All right. So
All
today's
right.
show is
All
also
right.
sponsored by Robbie's OnlyFans Platinum Patriot tier. For just $17.76 a month, subscribers receive uncensored behind the scenes footage, exclusive thirst traps labeled for democracy, and access to Robbie's members only chat room known simply as the Situation Room. And folks, I'm reading directly from the copy here. Apparently, his top performing video is titled Bad Boy of Behavioral Health Explains Gaslighting While Oiling a Cast Iron Skillet. 5 stars. Disturbingly high engagement from middle aged nurses and divorced dads. Robbie's OnlyFans, where mustache rides aren't extra, they're expected. Okay, we'll get our money. Copy
Yeah.
number 2 down. I was worried that my
Well,
analogy wouldn't make a lot of sense, but then when you started talking about spent oil and stored oil and it was
yeah.
just gonna blow, yeah,
Yeah.
my analogy worked a hell of a lot better than I thought.
Well, and to our tens of listeners, I used to perceive David as like one of my best friends. He's really fucked me on this one. And I'm really questioning, David, we might not be friends anymore. I don't know. We'll have to see how this plays out. It's kind of like Iran. We'll see how it plays out. At any rate,
We'll see if the markets respond to your threat of not having a friendship anymore.
yeah. So this is where I need you to weigh in. Is why does the market do this? Because it's not reality based, and it's presented on the news as if it's reality based. And here's something for our listeners. I mean, if you guys want to actually like I don't know not buy into the bullshit, the IAE on the 28th of this month will tell us just how far in the hole we are. So it's the International Energy Agency. They will tell us, they will say, this is how far in the hole we are. And that has real implications to everything because energy is everything to us. Energy is how we get food across the nation. Energy is how we get our TMO shit. from point X to point Z.
Fucking who uses Timo?
Man, I'm going to guarantee you, some of our
I
tens
did.
of listeners buy some Timo shit. It is everything to us. So, what I'm just stunned by, I mean, just utterly stunned by, is that the market doesn't really give a fuck. What they're really trying to do is maintain their prices for their purposes, but they don't give a shit about us, about the real world. It is magic thinking, and it kind of pisses me off.
Well, I guess, yeah, you should be pissed off because it's going to come crashing. And when it comes crashing down, it's going to burn everybody. Like, that's the people who are not invested or people who, just have their 401k because they work at a place that has one and their money is going to be gone and they're going to worry about their future. And really, the people who are going to make out like bandits on this are the people who are able to sell off all their shit right before this comes crashing down. And I would be fucking dumbstruck if the people who are aware that it's going to come crashing down are intimately tied in with Donald Trump. I mean, if anything, if there is ever a better commercial for Truth Social, it is watching the markets because every time the man bleats on Truth Social, the market does something in response. I don't think anybody should be on Truth Social, but if you're going to be, I mean, do it just to know when to buy and when to sell because he's telling you straight up when he's going to make a move.
Yeah, and I think we'll end up moving in that direction. The motto of the United States is "E pluribus unum," and "E pluribus
Unum?
unum,"
E pluribus unum?
unum. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm a hillbilly. If I say words wrong, just have to roll with it.
I know. And you're turning pink from the bourbon. I'm watching a sunburn that you don't have develop as you're sitting
Well,
there with the bourbon. I'm
yeah,
impressed.
I started this evening having not drank, and I decided, I didn't talk about what I was drinking. What has been externally decided was one of the best sipping bourbons is Maker's Mark cask strength. And I bought a bottle a week and a half ago. I was away and I was able to get to a class six for our listeners. Class six is a liquor store for military people. So I bought this bottle, and here's what happened to said bottle. Put it in my bag, it broke. There was enough for this evening left. So, two things I got out of it. One was a lot of laundry that smells like bourbon.
Well, that's a gift that keeps on giving, Robbie.
Well,
Honestly.
or needs laundered. And I'll tell you, Maker's Mark has never impressed me. Matter of fact, Maker's Mark has always pissed me off because their motto is we taste expensive because we are. And they're not, they dip their bottles in wax so it makes it feel like they're doing something special. It's a weeded bourbon, it's middle of the line. It's there's nothing special about it. Now, what I will say, and I have had, I don't know, the equivalent of probably 3 drinks this evening. This cast strength's not bad. It's not bad. It is a weeded bourbon, but because it is a really high alcohol content, it kind of fools you into thinking it has a little more complexity than it does. When in fact it's just high alcohol content. It's not bad.
It's like our
Yeah.
show.
Fooling everyone that we have more complexity than we do.
Just a high alcohol content. I'm watching you get pretty plastic here.
No, I'm not plastered. That's wrong.
With the market responding the way it is, can I explain it? Well, I guess just like the person who is told they want an open marriage and then goes with it thinking they're going to salvage their marriage through fucking other guys. I think it's just more of a, they want it to be true. And so it's going to go in on this, in this case, it's just somebody's making a lot of money. And because they're not the ones that are going to get screwed over, it's kind of like, well, who cares? Yeah, it's a rough situation.
Here's who cares. And this is, I made a mistake some weeks ago. I made this call that we were going to be boots on the ground at a certain point. I based that on some military thinking. And we're not, to our tens of listeners, we're not functioning on military decision making. No, we're definitely not. Military decision making carries some weight. It's actually pretty thoughtful, folks. You actually can trust your military. The challenge to that is that your military is not really in charge. It's your civilian leadership. And I'll tell you, you can't trust your civilian leadership. And I realize that makes me like a fascist or something. I also have a lot of faith in the military and in our values and the fact that we wouldn't just naturally take over the country. But here's what you really do need to think about and look at. So the market is bullshit. And we've established this. The market is an emotionally driven thing. What you have to look at is two things. One is the EAI, the uh, uh, inter, the
I think you've
EAI.
said that. I don't think you've said the acronym right once. This is
I
great.
haven't. I haven't. I haven't.
IEA, International Energy Agency.
Yeah, it's the EAI. It's the energy.
You've
Fuck,
said it
whatever
fucking
it
wrong
is.
just now.
I have. I have. It's the EAI, and
No, it's
this.
not.
No, no, it is definitely the
Oh, okay, okay.
EIA. EIA. Definitely. Definitely 100%. 100%. It's the EIA. Promise. Promise. So these are the folks that this is an international agency that actually looks at this kind of thing. So what we need to pay attention to is every week they actually give this general consensus about national shit, international energy supplies. We got to pay attention to that. And that comes out on the 28th. And the expectation is that we're going to be like 10 million barrels in the hole with no plan to repair that, to catch
I think
up.
you said I think you said 10 billion earlier. Is it 10 million or 10 billion?
Million.
Million.
Sorry,
Okay, so
sorry.
way less. Yeah, yeah. Or maybe
Sorry.
I'm wrong.
I'm like,
I could be totally fucking wrong, but
I'm super excited about this topic. So yeah, billion, million, who gives a shit? I don't know.
it's
Maybe
all the same, right?
it's 1.776 billion slush fund. The other is the PPI, and it's the something price index. And I should know this shit, but I just know it's important.
Something price index.
Yeah, it
It's the
is.
something price index.
It
Awesome.
is. It is.
Man, this is top quality shit we're giving you. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
If our
this is
tens of
complex,
listeners are even around after missing a week, they will not
right? Well,
go without this week.
this is important shit. But I mean, let's face it, David. This isn't our area of expertise. These are not the things that we.
We are not economists at all. We are not historians. We are not lawyers. We are psychiatrists at
And
best.
barely that.
And
Barely.
barely so.
No.
Our GABA receptors are widely
Right.
open at the moment. We have just bathed them in ethanol
Yeah. Yeah.
and they're
No, and
working.
what sent me down this path, I mean, the reason I know the EAI and the PPI is my fascination with the psychology of this. Is like, all right, they're responding a certain way, but if there was no psychology here, if it was just a data-driven system, what would they be thinking about? And what they would be thinking about is the EAI, which talks about fuel, how much energy, how much oil is in the system. And then this PPI, which the PPI talks about how much stuff costs. And that's coming up here in middle June. These are the things we can't deny. This isn't psychology. This is legitimate data. And there has to be a point when the legitimate data impacts the psychology. So there has to be a point when what the data says overrides Donald Trump saying, yeah, we're close to a solution. We're going to sign a whatever, which is nuts at this point. It's like the boy who cried wolf. I mean, this every week, we're close. We're close. And then at the end of the week, it's, I'm going to bomb the shit out of them. I may well destroy their whole culture. And then we're close.
Your Trump impression is just uncanny.
It's impressive.
It's very good.
No, let's step back from this and just appreciate my Trump impression.
Yeah,
And to our tens of listeners, I have hair very similar to Donald Trump,
you do. You do.
or
It's
lack
beautiful.
thereof.
Hey,
Yeah.
before we continue, another word from our sponsor, which again,
God damn it.
I did not write. This is apparently what Robbie submitted for tax purposes.
I did it. I did it.
At Robbie's OnlyFans, every subscription comes with one complimentary emotional support flannel, access to the Bourbon and Boundaries Masterclass, and weekly ASMR recordings of Robbie whispering things like, "Your hypervigilance is valid, but that squat rack still fears you." And if you sign up for the Diamond Executive Chairman tier, Robbie
This
himself
is
will send you a
terrible.
personalized video reminding you to hydrate, challenge authority, and respectfully disobey tyranny.
Yeah.
Robbie's OnlyFans, where
Yeah.
mustache rides aren't extra, they're expected.
Expected. Oh,
I think when the data drops,
I
it's
love how
the
you
sort of
present
the
that and then just move on.
I'm
Like
just
I
reading
can
the copy. I'm just reading the fucking listen, I know I'm not a professional broadcaster per se, but
yeah. Like my head.
if we're gonna get advertisements, Robbie, and they ask me to read it on air,
All right.
I'm gonna do it professionally. Okay. I'm gonna do it professionally
Yeah.
because that's how we're
You
gonna make it big.
right. You're a professional. Here's something I will say. If our tinsel listeners ask, I will have an OnlyFans tomorrow. I'll do every one of these things.
Anyway,
I
so
don't
if
have a
the
mustache. I don't have a mustache because I am totally mustacheless.
I
I'll
don't know
grow
why
a
the
mustache.
mustache rides keep showing up then.
I will mustache it up for our tens of
So
listeners because that's the
so
kind
the
of guy I am. I commit, people.
Robbie is the kind of guy who would grow a mustache for a mustache ride
I'll do it.
just to please the tens of listeners.
I'll do it.
So is when the data drops, the actual data drops and the reality sets in. That's kind of like the moment that your wife asks you to install a sex swing in your bedroom
For her
for
boyfriend.
one of her lovers. When you're up on the ladder looking for a good something you could just
Maybe.
yeah,
Maybe.
you could just drill that thing into and
I
you're
gotta find
figuring
the two
out
by four. I gotta
is
find the
that
two by
enough?
four. Hey,
Will that support enough weight for
where's the stud finder?
can Raul and my wife swing on this safely? I think that's the
And
point.
and here's the funny thing about that is that it would stimulate the average guy's desire to do a good job,
Yeah.
to do the work.
Yeah.
And it would only be after that he does it, he installs it, it's solid, he feels good about it, he's proud of it, and then he realizes, "My wife's gonna get fucked by Raoul.
She's going to get it hard by Raul. Yeah.
She's gonna get railed by Raoul on the work I just did."
Hmm.
Yes, David, I think that is a reasonable analogy.
Thank
I
you.
honestly yeah, if I'm really pushed to, like, come up with, like, why it's reasonable, I don't know. I just think it's funny, so I'm gonna go with it.
When we see those numbers and we realize that somebody is balls deep,
And our wife.
wildly swinging into our wife, it might be time to rethink whether we should trust the cyclical promises that keep coming out of Donald Trump's mouth.
And here's the weird thing that I keep coming back to.
Here's the weird thing. Yeah, okay.
No, no, this is not the psychology so much into the market. It's the psychology of us, is that we're uninterested in this. I think everyone feels it. I mean, every time I hear one of the talking heads say, yeah, once this is over, we're going to restore movement of oil. Everything will be back to normal. I hear that, but I don't think anyone actually believes it because it's not true. There is a 2-month gap. Like if we restored supply tomorrow, which
There's
we
going to be a
won't.
Raul sized gap that we're just not going to be able to fill.
Well, that's it. I mean, like Raul's got a big friggin' cock, and we can't account for Raul's
Saying the
dick.
things you're
Well, I mean, we can't. We can't account for
speaking
Raul's.
of implying it wasn't enough, was it, Robbie?
I mean, like, he's got
The
an
fucking
impressive.
Raul.
He's got an impressive penis, but we can't. Jesus, David. Let's take Raul out of this. What I'm saying is that even if we restore 100% of movement through the Strait of Hormuz tomorrow, there is a gap of multiple months before we can just re-achieve previous levels. What it doesn't account for and can account for is the reduction in the supply in the reserves that have currently been used in order to not alter the market. Here's the thing that pisses me off. This is what pisses me off, honestly, is that we started a war based on hopium, based on this idea that Iran would magically flip into a democratic wonderland and we could all walk away. And when I say we, I mean one person. There's only one person that did this. What we have been left with is the reality of the world, which is they're not going to give in. They're not going to do this. They're not going to give in. We have proven to them that they can control the Strait of Hormuz. It was a theoretical. This is the thing that's fucking stunning to me. This was a theoretical thing for the last 50 years, and we helped them prove it that they could control the Gulf. They now have control of the Gulf. We have made them a world fucking power. Now, is it a world power that has legs? Who knows? Because, the other Persian Gulf states can make pipelines, etc. They can go through the Red Sea. They can do other things, but it takes years. You can't build that shit in months. We're talking the next decade before they could alter the flow of the Strait of Hormuz. But we did this. We did this thing in which now they know they have control of the Strait of Hormuz. We made them a world fucking power. We made Iran, that had very little power, we made them world power. And right now, the best we can do and you can see this. You can see this in the news right now. Trump has lost attention on this. He doesn't care anymore. He just wants to walk away. And that's what's going to happen, folks. There's not going to
Yeah.
be a resolution. And there's not going to be another attack, by the way. And this is me stepping out on a limb and fuck, I've been wrong before and I'll probably be wrong again. But we're not going to attack again. He's going to step away. He's going to ignore this. He's going to claim victory based on this Pyrrhic military, like, we won, look at us, we're tough. And fuck, folks, I promise you, we are the most powerful military. The United States is the most powerful military that has ever existed in the history of the world. I won't back off that. He's going to walk away from that, claim a military victory, and just let this be unsettled. And you know what it's going to cost us? It's going to cost us somewhere right around 8%. 8% is what we can all anticipate on the cost of everything, because that's the tax that we just incurred. Because getting shit through the Strait of Hormuz is going to be a pain in the ass now. It's going to cost in terms of insurance. Iran's going to get their cut because we're not going to stop them. Donald Trump's not, he's going to pretend like it doesn't exist, but they're going to get their cut, and we're going to pay about an 8% cost. Now, that's the long term. In the short term, because we are so far in the hole for oil right now, it's going to cost a lot more. So here's Rob going up on a limb. I'm going to tell you, folks, we're looking at $7 a gallon gasoline for a bit. We're looking at inflation, particularly in response to food, probably in the 5 to 7% range. This is what we're facing. And nobody's actually saying it out loud yet. And it's fucking killing me.
I mean,
And David, you need to write this down so that later you can tell me I was wrong or I was right.
we'll remember this, but I think the best possible outcome that they could get from everything that's happened is maybe something that's less strict as the JCPOA was, the Joint
Jesus.
Comprehensive Plan of Action. Like, I mean, really, at this point,
That's the best they could get to.
the best they could get to is something that is weaker than the JCPOA was. Does it
Well,
surprise that Donald Trump's decision making will likely lead to a worse possible outcome than had he done nothing?
Well, and that's the interesting psychological thing from his standpoint, is that he can't tolerate being a loser, and he's a loser here. I mean, he's a massive I mean, there's no getting
Yeah.
around this. He's a massive fucking loser on this. He's a loser in every regard on this. The best he can get to is the JCPOA. That's the best.
And I don't
Which
even think
for
I think the best he can get to at this point is something slightly worse than the JCPOA.
absolutely. If he can get back to the
The
JCPOA,
Iran nuclear deal that he canceled because he thought it was a terrible deal. Because and mainly
and
because he didn't negotiate it.
well, exactly. And if he could get back to that, it'd be a win. It'd be a win. That was not a bad deal. We actually had them kind of hedged in.
No, it
Um,
was a great
and
deal.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if he can get back to that, that would be a super win. Right now, it comes down to this. Iran needs money desperately. I mean, they really are in a bad position. There's no getting. I don't want to overplay their hand. I mean, the reality is their economy is in dire straits. What you can't account for is the fact that they can absorb the pain or are willing to.
Speaking of economies in dire straits, today's final sponsor break comes from Robbie's OnlyFans After Dark. This week's featured content, Trauma Bonding by Candlelight, Advanced Daddy Issues, a workshop, and a 45-minute premium video called Fiscal Conservatism, Physical Liberalism. Listeners, I wish I was making this up, but apparently the VIP tier includes a signed 8x10 glossy photo of Robbie staring thoughtfully into the middle distance while holding a smoker thermometer and wearing jeans tight enough to violate several OSHA standards. Robbie's OnlyFans, where
Just
mustache
like
rides aren't
Kennedy.
extra, they're
They're
expected.
expected. They're expected, folks.
Sorry, last copy. That was it.
You,
That was it.
Dave is a goddamn asshole. He's not kind. He's not kind. He's not a good human. And I hate to reveal that to our tens of listeners that you're just a terrible person. God, that sucks.
I'm just reading the copy that
I
you
know,
sent.
I know,
I
I
mean,
know.
I'm sorry.
Um,
I'm reading
all
the
right.
copy that was sent over to.
Hey, for our tens of listeners, I like to walk around in a pair of jeans with no shirt and a really intense tan, just like our Secretary of Health and Human Services, because I really dig Kennedy. I really dig him.
Yeah, who doesn't?
He starts every day with a tanning session. He does. There's a reason why he's trying to lessen the regulations on tanning.
I yeah, I don't see. I mean, come on. Should we not allow young teenagers to get into tanning beds? I mean, what's the harm?
Who doesn't look better with a tan?
Who gives a shit about melanoma? That's just a what does that
Fuck
even mean?
that.
Melanoma. That's nothing. Let's get our 14-year-olds into the tanning beds.
And let's get him a vape. Let's get him a vape and in the tanning bed because apparently nicotine is the next super drug.
Hey, no SSRIs. Those are the devil.
Right.
Benzos, stimulants, opiates, whatever. But antipsychotics all around. But SSRIs, dangerous.
That's rough.
Dangerous. Yeah. We don't want those antidepressants out there.
I fear for our tens of listeners, we're doing a little inside baseball, but yeah. Hey, visit my OnlyFans site. Mustache rides are not optional. So
Aren't
there we go.
extra. They're
Yeah.
expected. Now, that was free. I didn't get paid for that one, but
Right. And if you go to my OnlyFans site, which features me in a pair of jeans, no shirt, and very tan,
an intense stare.
I intensely stare constantly. But that might be me having a fucking stroke and
It's
or a
like you're
seizure.
looking into my soul and my
Yeah, yeah.
non-existent ovaries. I feel it
And
there.
that
I feel it there. It's like a kick to the nuts, but in a good way.
and that's me, folks. I mean, that's really me. David really has captioned me. I am like a kick to the nuts.
I don't know why you keep blaming me for the copy that I've been paid to
I
read.
know.
It's just paid
I know.
commercials. I'm sorry. We're selling out, and I know. It's
I do
embarrassing.
totally feel like I should have some oversight on the copy. Anyway,
I didn't make
whatever.
this up.
Whatever.
This came
Hey,
over.
folks, gas is really goddamn expensive. David keeps wanting to be funny, and I don't want to be. I want you all to be scared as shit. I want you to actually be thinking about the fact that you're going to be paying $7 a gallon for gas. I want you to be mad about it, in fact, because there's no good goddamn reason for it. What we engaged in was stupid. It was dumb. It didn't result in anything positive. It didn't improve your safety in the world. It just purely increased the cost to you. And that's what pisses me off.
You're going full gestalt on this, aren't you?
I'm mad. I'm mad about this because
Screaming into a pillow later.
yeah, yeah. No, I'll scream into a pillow later because that's how I always go to sleep. It's soothing to me. No, what really irritates me? I mean, this makes me angry. This truly makes me angry. Is that we're not safer? The risk of Iran having a nuclear weapon, which was just shy of zero to begin with. Everything that we were before, we are in no better place now. All we did was bomb a bunch of people, kill about 100 children.
160. It was like 160. It was fucking
Yeah,
terrible. Terrible. Yeah.
terrible.
Terrible.
We killed some people, babies. We killed some babies.
Thousands of people. Yeah.
And thousands of people. And we are no safer from a nuclear standpoint. Iran's nuclear capabilities, no less. I recognize that they have complete control of the goddamn Strait of Hormuz because they have a asymmetric capability that we can't account for. They can send out $200 drones all fucking day. We can't account for them.
They're a
And
little more expensive than that. But yeah, I think Donald Trump even admitted during a couple of interviews that at this point, there's sort of a stalemate to getting to the nuclear material because it's all sitting under just a couple of different mountains. And that we have, constant observation of. And so if they were to even try to dig it out, we could just bomb the shit out of them again like we did last year. So I mean, I agree. I think at this point we're in the middle of this, maybe not so much because of safety or whatever excuses they were coming up with after the fact, but I think maybe because there's an ego involved and we're all sort of just slaves to it.
is there an ego involved? Whose ego? What are we talking about here? Ego involved. What?
Yeah, that's unfortunately where we're at with this. So
Hey, let's
yeah,
take a few moments here to talk about ego. So
when you say ego, do you mean that guy from Ghostbusters?
that's ego.
Oh, oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry. Well, explain to me what ego is.
Yeah. So
Does it involve a chariot?
no, but it involves some Latin. The motto of the United States is "E pluribus unum," which is from many one. And the idea is that we are a people of many. That there are millions of us, and we come together to one. And what has become very clear to me in the last week is that Donald J. Trump takes that seriously. For many one, I think he misinterprets it slightly in that it is the many contribute to the one.
I think the Latin that he might be going for is omnia pro uno, which would mean everything for one.
Yeah. I have been breathtaken this week on multiple levels, actually. I've been breathtaken that this fucking guy, 1.76 billion to him.
1.776 billion
Yeah, yeah.
for to come on,
Him.
come on to combat the weaponization of
My
the legal
yeah, it's
teams
fucking
that
stupid.
were going against. Hey, no, come
No,
on, no, stupid, no,
no,
stupid. Come on,
it's
listen,
fucking
listen. No,
stupid.
if we look at it for what it was, okay,
Fucking stupid.
we have Donald Trump, current sitting U.S. president.
Who
He
ruled in his own
sued.
favor
Hold on. He
himself.
sued the government that he is currently running for looking at his tax returns for $10 billion. Now he settled with
It was kind.
hims-
It was kind of him,
himself,
actually.
with his own government. He settled with
Yeah,
his own
yeah.
government for $1.776 billion, which it's kind of cute. We were established in 1776. He
I
settled.
get it.
So
It was
instead of
cute. It
suing
was
him,
cute.
so instead of suing himself, he settled with himself for a lower number of dollars that can be given out to anybody that was prosecuted by the government when he wasn't in charge
You're
for
you're 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 putting
alleged.
more parameters on it than actually exists.
Okay,
Anybody
okay,
who
I'm sorry.
feels like they have been wronged by
Wronged.
yeah.
Okay. Well, and now if there is something corrupt or bad or negative about anything that I just said, then bend me over and call me Nancy. Because I think that's all pretty innocent.
Listen,
It's all
buddy,
pretty
you
innocent.
you bend over and get called Nancy on a average weekend.
Just behaving like the Congress.
This bullshit, this nonsense, this craziness in which a sitting president found was the complainant and the defendant in a lawsuit that ended up finding in his favor to give him 1.7 or 1.776 billion that he can then distribute to anybody based on a panel of 5 people with no need to
Oversight.
tell, no oversight, no need to tell
Yeah.
anybody where the money goes.
That he can fire and rehire at whatever point he wants.
A caveat that not just him or his family, all the Trumps, all fuck, and who knows? I mean, does it go out to the third cousin, fourth cousin? I
Well,
mean,
sometimes, hey,
it is these people that
like
are named like Jones. They're not
like
even
your hey, like the Olive Garden when you're here, your family.
your family. That they will never ever be investigated by the IRS. It is a
I'm
level of
I'm gonna request some money. I mean, I feel
we
persecuted.
should. We should.
I'm
No,
going
no,
to.
no. You know what we need to do? David, we need to do this as a show.
We should.
We have to actually request for funds.
I think all of our listeners should request some funds at this point. I mean, if
No,
who
no, no.
wasn't persecuted by Biden?
Well, I think you and I, as a show, I mean, we would listen to our tens of listeners. If we
Any
get any
proceeds
money,
might go to charity.
it would totally go to charity and or the betterment of this mediocre show that we put on.
More bourbon for all.
Well, I mean, we'd
Anyway,
probably buy some bottles, but it's stunning. And when you factor this in, you factor this nonsense, $1.776 billion with a ballroom that the promise was I'm paying for this. But oh wait, no, I need $1 billion from the taxpayers. Oh yes, and I also want to do a arch, which is I don't know $200 million.
the Arc de Triomphe, I mean, come on. In all fairness to them, in 1924, the Congress did authorize that something be placed there. And if we can't honor
The
something,
1924 Congress.
if we can't,
Hey,
I mean, obviously they wanted something
what's
there. I
wrong
mean,
with us?
it was like two columns. An arch is like two columns. And
I'm
and the
just
thing is, if an
saying.
art, if the Arch de Triomphe loses an I and an H, because who does it? Who even likes those letters?
Well,
What does it matter, Robbie? What does it matter? It's irrelevant. What is the psychology of all this, by the way? Because we at some point, what's the
no,
psychology?
and
What
this
is this? What do we?
this also
What the fuck is
factors
this?
into this week in which he made a ridiculous argument that the Democrats should be called the Democrats,
Hey, why do you need to
and he invested in that.
why do you need to qualify with ridiculous? I mean, that is a
Yeah.
legitimate opinion. The Democrats.
Here's my concern. I mean, honestly, I find it all so ridiculous that sometimes I don't even think I need to think it through. It's just so stupid. But what we are seeing is a manifestation of this man's entire life that he is really good, really, really good at achieving. He's really, really bad at being. He can pretend to be things. He can pretend to be a CEO. He can pretend to be a president. He's really, really bad at being a leader. And he's overwhelmed right now. I guarantee you, he's overwhelmed. He fucked himself. He doesn't know what to do with Iran. And we can
No.
see this. We can see it because he doesn't wanna talk about it anymore. He walks away from it. He's not engaged in it. Like a legit leader, like, we go to war, that legit leader stays nose to the goddamn grindstone right to the end. This is why we're going to war. This is our plan. We're gonna stick with it. We're gonna get through it. No, that's not what we see with him.
I've noticed that most of the time, if not every time, there's something with him that he wants to project eventually as winning.
That's all that matters.
There's never a
Projection
goal.
of winning.
Yeah, there's never like a defined goal for winning. Like I
It's
achieved
a
X, Y,
feeling.
or Z.
It's
Yeah,
a
it's more
feeling.
like if we were to watch the Super Bowl, right? But the outcome wasn't determined by the score, like the final score. It was determined by like who made the best effort. Like it
If
was
the
just something
team
else.
didn't have to actually play the game and
Yeah.
actually be committed to the results of said game, this is what we have.
Yeah, there was no defined result. It was just sort of like, we're gonna have a Super Bowl. We've had it, and I win. I think that's sort of where we're looking at. Okay, so we've talked this one to death. You got a prescription for these fine, lovely tens of people who might only be 10 people now that we've disappeared for a week.
Well, I'm pretty confident you're absolutely right. We're probably down set from tens to 10 listeners, because it's the nature of our show. David, I don't have a prescription. You know, it's a rare thing, actually. This period of time for me has left me feeling ridiculously irritated, angry, and hopeless. And I can't give a prescription because the prescription says we've got something we can do. I'm just feeling really hopeless. I feel like, all right, we just got to watch this shit play out.
Maybe that's a good prescription. Like, realize that part of watching a rat run through your living room is understanding that,
So I gotta
okay,
get
I
to
have
the
rats.
end.
I got rats now. I need to call an exterminator. Like, somebody has to figure out how the rat got in and then get rid of that hole.
Look at that
You can't
rat.
always
Holy shit, I
look
got
at
a rat.
look at that rat. Yeah, there's a rat there. I should probably do something about that rat. But you didn't know that you had a hole in the side of your house until you saw the rat. So
Well, when you
that's
say
nice.
whole, it reminds me of my OnlyFans size. So everybody, I want you to visit my OnlyFans in honor of holes.
So I do have a description. The White House should not be used as an emotional support animal for the Dow Jones.
Good one. It's a good one. Come to my OnlyFans. I don't have one. That's the painful part here is that I can send you all there. There is not one. But I am not averse to mustache rides, but I have to grow a mustache.
I think we've talked this to death. Thank you to all 10 of our listeners now. I
Yeah.
dropped the S because that's probably where we're at. But thank you so much. Share us.
I If
Please
we're in
get
the
us out there.
teens if we're in the teens at this point,
Yeah,
I'm
we're
done.
all
Stunned.
right. Well, let's cue up that music, and we are
Email us. Let us
email.
know because otherwise we're really feeling alone in this.
We are. All right. Well, let's cue up that music, and we are out. But as we head out tonight, one final thanks to our sponsor, Robbie's OnlyFans. Robbie wants everyone to know that next month's content theme is apparently called Stars, Stripes, and Daddy Issues. New premium series include Soft Dominance and Supply Side Economics, emotionally available but constitutionally armed,
You're
and an
such a
8-part
dick.
behind the scenes documentary titled How Many Buttons Can a Flannel Leave Undone Before It Becomes a Crime? And remember, folks, according to the copy Robbie handed me, all proceeds go towards bourbon, beard oil, and what he describes as tactical emotional support infrastructure. Robbie's OnlyFans, where mustache rides aren't extra, they're expected.
You're a fucking dick. You're a dick.